Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 78th episode of Let's Talk About Market. If we see the Nifty index, it was more or less flat today. It was down, but mainly if you exclude the two stocks, that is Reliance and HDFC, it was largely flat and there was a lot of stock specific action that was seen. The undertone of the market is bullish. Okay. While I was thinking about the market, there was this funny thought that came to my mind. The best thing that describes the market right now is that uh, how do we say bears हमें जीने नहीं देंगे और bulls हमें मरने नहीं देंगे, which means that each time when the market is coming towards the higher levels, the market is witnessing selling pressure, and when there is a dip, the bulls come and buy, and it gives us that hope that now it's going to break out. But none of it is happening, and more or less the Nifty index has been range bound. But nevertheless, many of the stocks seems to be trending. So let me quickly share my screen. Please let me know once you all are able to see my screen. Please, if someone can confirm. Okay. Thanks, Karthik. So, Nifty index, as you can see, there is a doji-like structure over here. Over here as well, at the support level, it was turning around. And by this doji, it could be an interesting point to watch, because if you see the retracement, the Nifty index retraced exactly 61.8%, and from there it turned around. Okay. If you see over here, exactly it tested the 61.8% retracement mark of the fall, and it turned around. And towards the end, there was a bullish crossover that was also seen. So, now the thing is that the Nifty index needs to break above the day hourly averages. Once it does that, it should see momentum on the upside. Also, the Nifty index can be deceiving right now. That is because it has seen a meaningful correction. You see this, there has been a meaningful correction. You go and see the mid cap, it has actually made a new high, okay, or almost around there. You see small cap, again a similar story. Okay. Micro cap, if you see, they have also corrected and came back to the 40-hour average. So more or less, if you see, now we are seeing a point where small mid caps, micro caps have started to outperform, and Nifty index is going nowhere. So basically this is what is happening, and that's where we need to be a lot more vigilant and see what are the trends in the market. In fact, IT, I think we had discussed about this yesterday. Again, what is happening is that classic rotation, right? Bank Nifty down today, IT up, autos down, pharma up. So, and pharma, in fact, we had spoken about it yesterday as well. It was in a range, and it is now appearing to be breaking out. But you see IT, right? Up move, pull back towards the averages, and now turning around. But one thing that I want to caution you about IT is that now the result season are going to start. Usually Q3 is not a good quarter for them. Of course, there will be a like-to-like comparison, but it is not a strong quarter for them, mainly because December is largely holiday season, and that's where their revenues also kind of dip a bit in December. But if you see the pattern, it is very good. It has pulled back towards the averages and now trying to turn around. So I'm hoping that now IT kind of tries to support the market. And in fact, I am starting to feel a little skeptical about the Bank Nifty index, uh, because it had broken above the previous high, and ideally it should have seen a run, but it has again paused. So over here, so far, the 40 hour is held. So let's hope if this also comes to the party. because if we have the support of Bank Nifty, IT, and so on, I mean, then it can get really nice. But nevertheless, the broader point is that a lot of rotation is happening, and Nifty somehow needs to break out from this, tight range that it has been forming since a very, very long time. The thing, that visually can be seen is that the bottoms are going higher and higher. Okay, so one can also say that is this an ascending triangle sort of pattern that seems to be playing out? An ascending triangle, if at all it is forming that, then it typically breaks out in the direction of the trend, and in this case the direction of the trend is up. That way, even that is kind of supportive. uh, if you see, why this short term correction is happening or was due, that was because our short term indicators, as we talk about it very often. Call minus put histogram went in red. Okay, swing was in around the upper level. Average swing also around the upper level, and that's where some bit of correction was due, and that seems to have happened. Now we are kind of approaching important levels on the downside, because if you see over here, there are cluster of supports for the Nifty index, right? I mean, one that I showed you was 61.8% of this rise. The other is nothing but the 20-day average, the 40-day average, and so on, and even the trend line. So broadly, if you see from the levels of what is this 26,067 to 25,925, at every 50 100 point there is a support level for the Nifty index. So let's hope this support zone holds and we eventually see a breakout on the upside, because it's been very and mentally draining that market is not going anywhere. But if you end up seeing stocks like I mentioned, they are trending very well. I mean, if you see, say, something like Bajaj Auto, it had given a breakout from a triangular structure and it seems to be trending higher. So that way there are many stocks that seems to be trending. I mean, latest I saw IT also, some good moves are happening, but the only problem is that in IT, you have this result season. Else, you see nice patterns. I mean, up move, pull back towards the averages, RMI turning, going to zero line and then trying to turn around. And in similar case, if you see LTI Mindtree, up move, pull back, and pullback was almost towards the 40. If you see the hourly chart, there is a falling wedge pattern in this, which it is trying to break out on the upside. So yes, I mean, broadly, if you see, many good setups are there. In fact, of course, there are some bad setups as well, and basically underperformers are the ones that are continuing to underperform. EMS and all those stuff. We had spoken about pharma yesterday, right? If you see pharma, it has again seen a good follow-up gains, though from the higher levels it has seen some correction. But I think the follow-up buying in pharma can make it interesting. And also, as you're aware, I mean, Nifty Pharma Index has held the 20-month average. Okay, 20-month. And if you see on the weekly chart also, it would have. I mean, yeah, there was this break below the 40-week, but after this, there it has been a long consolidation over here, which is what now pharma is trying to break. So again, this can end up becoming a very interesting sector to watch out for in the near term. So apart from that, there is not much that has changed. I mean, real estate, which is trying to find its feet and trying to turn around. Okay. Uh, and mainly, I think you will get those clue from RRG. I mean, if you're short term, you can look out for the so you can look out for RRG on the daily time frame. And the ones, if you see, almost all the indices are seeing strength and momentum as well as relative strength, which is a good sign. The ones, FMCG, that seems to be lagging. IT, I mean, it has come to lagging, but there is some turnaround seen, and I think if daily chart is to go by, then I suspect that there will be a bullish crossover we might end up seeing tomorrow if we see some gains, and hopefully once this resistance break on the upside, I think there can be further more room. So broadly for IT index, if you see, it is 39,500 to 40,700. Sorry, 40,300. Okay, so that is nothing but 61.8% retracement of the entire decline. So these will be the levels to watch out for on the upside. And once this major resistance zone is broken on the upside, then IT can get really interesting, and it would then we'll need to see where are the good setups that are going on. I mean, that are there in IT, and I think. Uh, if at all it has to break out on the upside, it should be because of the quarterly results which are going to come now. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that and hoping that there will be some good outcome, because the chart appears to be showing that. So yeah, I mean, broadly that is it from my side. I mean, the pain points are basically HDFC Bank, that seems to have corrected meaningfully. Reliance, where it had seen some correction from the top. I think these two are the ones which are the main culprit over here. And of course, there are some stocks which fall here and there. I mean, Trent and all those guys, but they don't have much weightage in the index. So need some support. I mean, ICICI has been doing pretty well in the past couple of days, which is a good sign. uh, then yeah, I mean, of course, Titan is doing well, and you can see all IT names appear over here: HCL Tech, Wipro, Infi, Bajaj Auto, and so on. In fact, pharma name also, steel also. So yeah, basically the ones that are outperformer are the ones that are doing well, and that might appear. I mean, that might be the case as well going forward. In the past, I think two sessions, I've taught you like how to find those outperformers. So I think today try to spend more time on queries if you all have any. Uh, Option RMI says weekly RMI on sell and day and average swing overbought, and the market trend is up. Can we play on the put side? No. So option RMI, I don't think you need to connect it with the weekly RMI. That is because for weekly RMI to play out, it can take almost, I think, I mean, 2 to 3 months at least. Okay. I mean, on the higher side, it can take 5, 6 months as well. So I don't think combining weekly RMI with daily swing and all makes sense. Daily swing along with you can say hourly time frame, or if at all there is a sell crossover and the daily swing comes to overbought level, then also it can be maybe considered for the short. I mean, for a very short term dip. But as I have told you, I mean, usually the way to think about daily swing is that be in the direction of the trend. I mean, if at all this trend is up, so each time when it comes to oversold, try to buy. The chances of you making money will be very high when you try to trade with the trend. Similarly, if the trend is down around 80, 90 levels, try shorting, and maybe you might end up. Uh, I mean, you might end up making good money over there. But that is how I think you should look at it. Don't try to combine weekly with swing, average swing. It will not work out well, I would guess. Yeah, okay, Kushwan Singh. Let's see if it comes or no. I am not hoping, frankly. Any other questions you all have? Please let me know. Any other questions? I mean, I understand it's a very dull market. I don't know. I mean, what new to say? But the only interesting observation that I'll tell, I mean, that I had seen was that the global market seems to be doing well, and I think maybe global market doing well is becoming a problem for us because the money seems to be flowing there. But all the Asian indices, if you see, I mean, Hang Seng and all, they have been consolidating and trying to move up. Or if you see, this is Taiwan index, which seems to be, seeing a roaring up move. Similarly, I think Kospi, where is Kospi? I think Indonesian market seems to be rising higher. You pick any market and they seems to be doing pretty well. I mean, this is again the Korean index. No, sorry, not Korean index. This is the Chinese index. I think even I had put Korean market over here. Kospi. So over here also, if you see, it seems to be rising higher. So basically, what it is kind of telling you is that the AI trade is still on, and people are betting over there. And I mean, that's why maybe we have a lackluster market. Maybe we may not fall much, but maybe till the time I mean these countries are doing well. If you see, for example, German DAX as well, it is trying to break out from consolidation. So the broader point what I'm trying to make is that globally everything looks bullish and they seems to be breaking range. At this point of time, it is possible that people are trying to sell India and maybe try to buy other stuff. But it is not that the trend is down, like everything is falling apart and India will fall apart. It's just that maybe we end up consolidating more. I think that is what is possible. Uh, but I not expecting any major big downturn as such. I mean, that is how I'm thinking at this point of time. In fact, if you see, this is US Russell. This is basically US small cap index. I mean, I usually try and track this because if the small cap index over there is doing well and that seems to be breaking out, I mean, I don't know. It's just that I cannot be bearish on the market looking at all these data points, is what I'm trying to say. Deepak says, should I start looking at IT small and mid caps? Yeah, so of course, I mean, Deepak, if you can find those, where the valuations are low, uh, you can surely look at it. I mean, while I was checking the small mid caps IT as well, over there also the PE are 2025. Yes, you can say that the growth is also slightly better. But I mean, IT is not like very cheap, but it has meaningfully corrected its higher valuation that it had seen in 2022. So of course, I mean, if you can find such opportunities, I mean, you can. I mean, basically, what I'm trying to say is that you should be open to it because that is I mean, IT is one of the dark horse. I think that can surprise people on the upside because not people are. I mean, people are not hoping much from it. Is what I can tell you. Can we take position based on future scanner, but it will tell one day short built up? So yeah, Mohan, that's why it is important for you to understand the trend. Okay, and where is it say where there are high shots, you try to take a position, a contra position over there, and it might help you. But you need those confirmation for of a turnaround. You just can't uh, see one day movement and derive to it. Please understand that OI data will help you to understand how people are positioned in the stock. Okay. And you have to do the trend analysis and understand whether a turnaround is going to happen or will those stock keep falling. Dow Jones rally 8,800 to 1,000 points in 2 to 3 days. When it retraced, I'm not sure. I mean, I to be very honest, I'm not tracking that closely there. I think our Indian market is frankly doing things of its own right at this point of time. At a broader level, what I can tell you is that none of the index are showing weakness. So at some point I would expect that even Indian markets will break out on the upside. When, how, I don't know. We just need to wait and watch, because you see this was DAX, right? It had gone up since June. It had been consolidating. So now after 6 months of consolidation, it is the perfect pattern that we want, right? Up move, pull back towards this averages, RMI going to the zero line, and then trying to turn around. So I would rather expect DAX and all to do very, very well. I mean, in the coming days. Now, can that be bad for Indian market? I don't know, but that is how things are looking at this point of time. All I can say is that if I expect all these indices are showing strength and looking like it will move higher by 10-15%. In that scenario, it is hard to imagine that uh, index will go down. Okay, I mean, it can consolidate. All those things can very well happen. But to bet on a fall is something that I'm not positioned for it, and not thinking of it very strongly, frankly. So that's how I'm thinking. Is it because tariff news? I don't know. I mean, see, people will try and justify, Karthik. Uh, I mean, people will try and justify if Nifty falls, and they'll say it is because of tariff. If it goes up, then they say that tariff don't have any impact. Nifty exports are Infi. I mean, sorry, Uh, Nifty companies' exports are very high, or broadly India's export are very high. So people will make stories. I'm not reading too much into it. I'm just trying to focus more on trend and trying to see where are the pockets of opportunity, because mentally I'm thinking that things should be rising with the way how global markets and everything are shaping out. Rupesh, in case of RMI, if I take decision on weekly and execute on daily, shall I wait for I close to take? Sorry, I did not understand the last part. Can you please write it after shall I wait for, because I did not understand. Uh, check Checker trader says AC. Acha. According to momentum investing, please explain how to shortlist based on momentum top down approach swing. So for momentum, I showed yesterday, right, Checker Trader, that you just need to find which are the stocks that are not breaking the 40. I think that is a very simple scan. Like I was telling you, I mean, if you want very high momentum stocks, so see, this I told you, right? This list of 86 stocks. This is how we think about momentum investing, where these stocks are the ones that are not breaking the 40 week. So whenever they come back towards, so let me make it 50, and now you see the result has gone up to 108. So basically, these are now, say, something like car trade, right? Each time it will pull back, there will be a bullish bias to this whenever there is a bullish crossover that happens on the daily chart. So that's how we think about it. I mean, just go to moving average weekly, make it above, make it whatever average you want, and choose the look back period from which date you want, and you will see this happening. I mean, and you will end up seeing this result. I hope, Checker, that helps. So yeah, Rupesh, I'm just waiting for your comment. I Sorry, I did not understand your question. So, but broadly, see, what I'll say is that now, say for example, something like this, right? On DAX weekly, it has gone up. Now, should I trail it with daily averages? Should I trail it with weekly averages? It will all depend on situation, and I can't tell you what will be the perfect one. But ideally daily averages is what will be a good trailing point. I mean, once you enter, uh, yeah, I mean, that's how I would put it. Good to see, many questions after a long time. I mean, all this time it was very dull. Good to see some interesting questions today. Any other questions you all have? Yeah, I mean, we have almost done a 25-minute session. If there are no further queries, then we can wrap up for today, and we can meet tomorrow at 5. Okay, okay. You mean shall I wait for Friday's close? Ideally, yes. If you are trying to play on a weekly this thing, but I would believe that weekly time frame can be for view, daily time frame should be for execution. Okay, I mean, weekly time frame you will execute only when you have a long term view. I mean, so in which case your two time frames are monthly and weekly. But if you're a positional trader, then weekly will be your point of analysis of what the trend is, and on daily chart is where you might be looking out for execution. I hope that answers your question, Rupesh. Checker trader, see, it is not possible to explain you in 5 minutes as such. I have tried to give you a gist of it. uh, Wait, I'll just share my screen, and you can have a look at the webinar which we have done, the top down approach webinar. Right, just go to YouTube. We have done a detailed discussion on that. Okay, just type in search top down approach, and you will see many videos over here. See this. So just go to that, and you will be able to see that video. Let me also put the link in the comment box if that helps you. So just go through that video, checker trader. I'm sure you will find it very helpful. See, checker trader, there are finer nuances to all of them. I mean, you can imagine that heat map ka webinar itself has taken 1 hour. RRG webinar itself has taken 1 hour, right? In this top-down approach, I've tried to explain it within 50 minutes. I think that is a fair time to explain it properly, because even if I explain you, I mean, it is not possible for me to explain you in 5 minutes or so. Just go through the video, and tell me what are your issues with that, or what thing you're not able to understand. I'll try to help you with that. But explain you fully in the live stream, I mean, that we do for 30 minutes is not possible. No, so Shah Rupesh, I mentioned you that only, right? I mean, you now see. Let me just take an example. Okay, now see, there might be stocks that would be giving a bullish crossover on a weekly chart, for example, or else forget about that. Okay, I want to probably try and invest. Okay, so uske liye I would want to see, okay, daily may these are the stocks that are giving me new buy. Okay, now I see that, okay, this has a very nice pattern, like we want. So then I will see how is the medium term trend over here. Okay, now it is good. If that is the case, then I might want to buy it from a short to medium term perspective, and hoping that it will continue to stay above the averages, and it will keep rising higher that way. Okay, So that is how I would think about it. Not wait for the daily RMI till Friday. Okay, I mean, I just need to check the trend. How is it on a medium term chart? If it is good, say for example, now if 61.8% will be a hurdle over here, right? So then I might want to wait. I might buy some over here and wait for 61.8 to further get crossed to add more. I mean, there are different ways then to execute there. So those all things come to the execution part. But broadly, what I would say is that try to understand what the trend is on the weekly chart. If it is yes, if it is good, then try to find where is it that there is a bullish crossover or bullish points that are happening on the daily chart, and then you may want to buy into those things. Okay, so once again, I mean, thanks for joining on the session. I mean, good questions. And I hope I've tried to I've tried to answer all of them. But if you'll have so yeah, for Checker Trader for you, please have a look at that webinar once. I'm sure you will find a lot of insights in that. After that, if you'll have an if you have any query, please do shoot it to me. I'll try and resolve it. Okay. So thanks once again, and let's catch up tomorrow at 5 p.m.